Hello, my name's James, I'm 34 and I am from the United Kingdom. I am making this video because I've got my hair transplant tomorrow. It's actually for my beard. As you can see, I'm not a YouTuber, no fancy equipment, but I've come over to Turkey to Hair of Istanbul to get it done. It's, for me, quite scary going over to a foreign country when I don't speak the language to have an operation as major as a transplant. But what did put me at ease, as well as doing all the research I did on the company itself, was when I was able to find clips or footage from other people who went through the same experience. So I thought I'd do the same thing, because even if I can just help a couple of people realize that actually it's not as scary, or there's no need to be as intimidated as you might feel initially, then it will be worth it. So without further ado, here's the video and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so it is currently 5:10 and I am walking to the train station to make the journey down to London to catch my flight to Istanbul. I am here at the airport. I'm all checked in and ready to go. I still cannot believe that I'm on my way to Turkey for a transplant. It feels so unbelievably surreal. But I have to say, I am so excited. Much more excited than nervous. A little bit nervous, obviously. But yeah, just can't wait to kind of get there, get the procedure done. So I checked in straight away. I had to show my PCR test, my negative test, and my fit to fly certificate. But beyond that, all the COVID precautions that are being taken haven't added on, for me personally, any time or hassle really. So yeah, well worth it. Here we are, we have arrived in Turkey. I have picked up my suitcase and I'm ready to go meet my driver. So, what a day I have had. I flew with Turkish Airline, I think. And honestly, it was genuinely a five-star service. Not only did we get free lunch, which I wasn't expecting, so bonus, but also it was so comfortable. You know, we had screens in front of us so we could watch the latest films, watch TV series, even play video games. So I was living my best life, and the 3-hour journey just flew like that. So I thoroughly recommend flying with Turkish Airlines because it was really comfortable. From my initial inquiry through to today, must have been just over a month. And honestly, no matter what time of the day or night I messaged with a question or kind of, with plans changing because of the situation with coronavirus, they got back straight away and yeah, polite, friendly. I can't really fault the communication leading up to it, which is always quite nice and reassuring. But yeah, when I arrived at the airport, I was told to exit via gate 9, where I would have an interpreter and a driver waiting for me. They were talking to me about the process, how I was feeling, really putting me at ease. He gave me his number afterwards, said if I needed anything to call or WhatsApp or message 24/7. They literally cannot do enough for you. Anyway, we got to the hotel and honestly, it is absolutely gorgeous. It feels like pure luxury and it's all included in the package. The hotel staff cannot do enough. Hair of Istanbul cannot do enough. So yeah, I am now getting ready to go to bed, have a good night's sleep ahead of waking up bright and early for tomorrow when I will have my consultation. I think it's really useful for you to see no doctored or photoshopped images, nothing, just a genuine transplant. And I will tell you my genuine experience. But day one, I feel like a king. I am living my best life and I cannot wait for tomorrow. So thank you very much, Hair of Istanbul, the Crown Plaza, and Turkish Airways. You've made my first day a joy. So here it is, the morning of the transplant, which is very exciting. Still not feeling very nervous at all. I've woken up early to have breakfast, which is provided by the hotel and by Hair of Istanbul. I'm all set and good to go, so I'll see you at the clinic. Hello, so it is the day after the procedure. I was going to do a video yesterday straight after it, but it was a very long day. It was 12 hours that I was in there, and it was a lot. So I really wasn't in the right frame of mind to do a video. Um, I'll be honest, the one thing I was not prepared for was the amount of swelling that I would get. I mean, look at that. My cheeks and my chin are so puffed out. I look like Quagmire from Family Guy. Um, that's the one thing that I knew I'd get a bit of swelling, but I didn't realize I'd get this much. But I digress. Here is what I had done. I'll give you guys a close up. As you can imagine, obviously these lines will look a lot more natural once it's grown out. But yeah, so talking through the day itself, we got driven to the hospital in the morning. And as we arrived, there was a doctor waiting to open the door for us and help me out the van and take my luggage. I mean, they treat you like royalty. They are just so professional. And we walked into this hospital, and it was just done up to the nines. We're talking marble everywhere. It looked so swish, so smart, like something out of a mansion. So yeah, it was very impressive. And everyone had a smile on their face. Everyone was saying good morning. They treat you so well. And we went into a room, and the first thing I did was kind of register. So I had to kind of like fill out some details, fill out a consent form, pay my money, and most importantly, choose lunch. And we're not just talking kind of like sandwiches and a packet of crisps. Like these lunches were proper lunches, like delicious meals to choose from, and it was so good. So I was a very happy man. Directly after that, I went into the consultation room, and there were about 3 or 4 members of the team. I think that the person who drew on my beard was actually the CEO of the company, which was really interesting. And yeah, we had a little chat, and he drew on my beard. I made it very clear that I didn't want, for me personally, a completely round one. Obviously, it looks a bit more rounded at the moment because my face is swollen, but it's actually got more of a diagonal line. And yeah, so at first they drew it a little bit higher, but I said I wanted it lower, so they rubbed it out and then they redrew it. Nothing was too much trouble. And yeah, that was really comforting as well. It didn't feel like they were just kind of like trying to rush me and then rush me out to get somebody else in. And once we'd agreed on it, I was taken into the operation room. Now, I made the mistake of watching even more videos the night before. And I hadn't been nervous up to that point, but I saw this one video which was so helpful and informative, but scared me a lot because they said that the pain from the anesthetic was excruciating and something like nothing like they'd ever felt before. And I have a phobia of needles at the best of times. So I really started to get quite anxious at this point. But they were so lovely. They saw how nervous I was. They gave me some Xanax to relax me, and honestly, it made the process so much more bearable. So yes, they shaved obviously this back of my head. I'll show you now. And that's where they took the grass from to implant onto my face. And that is where they started to inject the anesthetic at first. It was a little bit painful, but it wasn't, unbearable. Um, yeah, so it was definitely manageable. That literally took effect immediately. And straight after that, they started to remove the grass of hair. And it's this tiny little drill that goes into the back of your head and then takes out the graft of hair. And I genuinely couldn't feel anything. I could hear the drill, and I could feel when they then got not a scalpel, but like tweezers or whatever it was they used to sort of like pluck it out afterwards. And honestly, I could feel like the tugging, but I couldn't feel any pain whatsoever. If ever I did feel pain at any point in the procedure, they just gave me some anesthetic and it stopped. So yeah, very pain free, really. After they did that, they bandaged me up and they took me for lunch, and the lunch was just delightful. It was really lovely. Um, Straight after that, we went back into the room to carry on the procedure. It came time to make the incisions in my face. So before they could do that, they had to give me some more anesthetic. Again, slightly uncomfortable, but I was a bit out of it by this stage. I'm not going to lie, it might have been the Xanax. So not unbearable or excruciating. And yeah, they gave me quite a few, and I think that's what the swelling is. I think it is part trauma, but it's also a lot of the anesthetic, however you say it, still in there that needs to just work its way out of my body. Once I was fully anesthetized, a doctor came and they literally started opening me up and making little scars there so that they could plant their grafts of hair into there. And didn't hurt at all. That process took about an hour and a half, I think. Yeah, and also the extraction of the hair follicles took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So after they'd made those incisions, it came to actually inserting the hairs, and two different technicians came in and they started doing that. This process again didn't hurt at all. Took about 4 hours. What I would say is it's really interesting, for such a dramatic procedure. I was in and out of sleep the whole time. I'm sure the Xanax helped a lot with that. But yeah, I went from being a little bit nervous to kind of like dozing to waking up a little bit to then dozing again. So time flew by. And then after the procedure, we got bandaged up. And the doctor spoke to us, kind of gave us a goodie bag with kind of like antibiotics, everything that we needed just to look after ourselves afterwards. He talked us through kind of everything we needed to do just to make sure that the aftercare was, followed properly. And yeah, then we got driven back to the hotel. At what point I went pretty much straight to sleep. The only thing I wasn't prepared for was, like I said, the amount of swelling that I've seen. But that's my own insecurities. Everyone gets swelling. I just wasn't expecting it to be quite so noticeable. But that's my own little insecurities. They did say the swelling would go down within 3 to 5 days. Apparently, this starts to grow back pretty soon. I can then get a haircut after a month and kind of get that blended in, which really isn't a long time to wait. And that's that. So, yeah, as it stands, I'm really happy. Today, I went and I got my bandages removed, and they then just washed the back of my donor area. It stung a little bit, but nothing huge. And then we got a platter of fruit. Again, this was at the clinic, not the hospital that I went to yesterday. And again, it was decked out with marble, and there was a massage chair, and a lot of the stuff from yesterday were there today as well. Just great. Like, such a lovely experience so far. Yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow for my last day in Turkey, and then I go home. Hey guys, so it's actually day 5. Yesterday was all about going to the clinic and having my beard and donor area washed and cleaned, and then traveling back to the UK. But by the time I got back, I was just a bit knackered, so I thought I'd make the video today instead. Before we get started, just a really quick one. Obviously, I've still got quite a bit of swelling, but it is subsiding, which is really good. The donor area is already starting to heal up really nicely, so that's reassuring. But yeah, so yesterday morning, I woke up nice and early again, had breakfast at the hotel, and then the driver took me to the clinic. As I've said before, similar to their hospital, they've really invested time and money into making both of their spaces feel and look really clean and modern. And it's just really reassuring to see it as a customer. But yeah, I had this foam sprayed over my beard and my donor area, which stung a little bit, but was for the most part really soothing. I'll be honest, the night before I'd had a really bad night's sleep because my donor area, it was the first time that I'd slept without a bandage on, and I could just feel it sticking constantly to this plastic that you wrap around your pillow, because there's whatever it is that leaks out of your head throughout the night, and it's not pleasant. But instantly, as soon as this foam went on, it's as if the donor area and beard started to tighten and dry up, which was really nice actually. So while I waited for half an hour for that to take effect, I had 2 massages in their massage chair, I was given a drink, and yeah, afterwards they washed it all off. and they lathered up this special shampoo, which they patted on my beard and donut area, and that was that. The driver then took me to the airport, and I came home. So, all said and done, what are my impressions of Hair of Istanbul, and do I recommend them? Yeah, I really do. The communication leading up to the day of the procedure, as I've said before, was faultless. Any time of the day or night, I'd always get a response. It is very clear that they have invested in their spaces. Everything's clean. They have trained every single member of their team brilliantly. The customer service is top notch and so much better than anything I've experienced in the UK. What you get included in the package is your procedure, transfer to and from the airport, an interpreter, breakfast every morning at the hotel, use of the swimming pool, use of their sauna, and lunch on the day of the procedure, and drinks kind of whenever you go to the clinic or the hospital. So yeah, what I really enjoyed about it though is that they always seem to go that extra mile, whereas a lot of the transplants in Turkey, from what I've seen in their clips, put you up in really nice hotels. These guys put you up in what feels like a luxury hotel. Whilst other clinics look nice and clean, these guys go that extra step and they make it look really kind of like modern and state of the art almost. So I think that's why they've got such a fantastic reputation and a really good following. As I said, for me, it's all going to boil down to the results. I seem to be healing quite well. I'm going to follow the aftercare instructions. But yeah, what I'll do now is I will do a 2-week follow-up, so we can see hopefully by that time my swelling will have completely disappeared, my scabs will have fallen off, and I'll start to really see the results before the shedding process begins. As I've said, I hope this video has been useful. I know I've rambled on a lot. Certainly for me, I had a lot of questions before I went over to Turkey, so I hope I've been able to answer them, or if you're considering it, you have a really clear picture as to what you can expect. Obviously, my experience is completely unbiased. I'm just a guy that had a beard transplant. I looked into a company, went with one that I felt was right for me, but my experience so far has been positive. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I've been able to help or kind of just shed a bit of light if it's something you're looking into.